Welcome to the Talk Unmentionables podcast, an inclusive space for real, unfiltered conversations about topics we often shy away from. From confronting imposter syndrome and redefining your professional brand to navigating the complexities of marriage and parenthood to coping with grief. Each episode explores life's unmentionables with openness, empathy, and authenticity. This is a space where honesty meets growth. Welcome back to the Talk Unmentionables podcast. I'm your host, Deniece Daniels, and today we're talking about grief, the real, gut-wrenching experience of losing someone you love, navigating the depth of that pain, and finding your way back to steady ground. Today, I'm joined by Yolanda Thomas, a single mother, sister, and confidant to a dynamic group of women. Yolanda is also a human resources professional and the founder of God Friends, a virtual Bible study community for women seeking connection, healing, and growth. In 2023, Yolanda endured the heartbreaking loss of the love of her life, followed shortly by the passing of her mother. Through faith, standing firm on God's word and his promises, and engaging in grief therapy, she discovered renewed purpose. Fast forward to today, Yolanda shares her story, uses her voice, and leans into her faith to remind others that even in the midst of tragedy, triumph is possible. Welcome, Yolanda.
Thank you for having me, Deniece. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to sit with you and have a conversation about grief, because grief is hard, grief is heavy, it's challenging, and none of us are exempt from it, quite frankly. So you never know. It's not if, it's really when. So I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you. We're really excited to hear your story, even though it's a challenging one. It's one that's really important that we talk about because, like you said, everybody's going to encounter grief at one point in time in their life. Yes. So what I really want to start with is something many people struggle with, the shock of grief.
Yes.
Can you take us back to the moment when your world shifted? What do you remember about those early days, the emotions, the disbelief, the weight of realizing that your life has changed?
Honestly, if I take you back to that moment when my life turned upside down, it was like life was just taken out of me. I honestly, in that moment, I felt so many emotions. First and foremost, I'll start with saying that I lost the love of my life. And in that moment, I felt all the feelings that you could think of. I felt pain, I felt shock, I felt cheated, there was a host of feelings and emotions that I had. And so in that moment, I was actually getting ready for a business trip, actually. And so the love of my life, he drove a motorcycle. He was out, it was the summer, it was in July of 2023.
Yeah.
And I thought he had a motorcycle accident. And then I learned that it was not a motorcycle accident, that he had actually been shot by a childhood friend. And so I just couldn't believe it. Honestly, I was waiting. It was about 8 o'clock at night, and I got a call from one of my closest girlfriends that said, "Hey, have you talked to Sean?" And I'm like, "Yeah, actually, I'm waiting for him. I'm leaving tomorrow for a business trip, flying out Sunday, and I'm waiting." And then I get a call from another friend that says he actually passed. So I was not able to see him at all. I was not able to be there by his side. It was a very, very challenging situation. It was a shock. I mean, who would think you would get a call saying that the love of your life is not, you're waiting for them. And then there's so many different moving pieces to that, because I was not his wife. And when you're not a wife, you don't have any say so, number one. And then number two, even if I was his wife, when a person is murdered, it's a crime scene. So you can't even see that person. And so me being a spiritual woman, wanting to pray, wanting to just, pray over his body, I didn't have that opportunity to do any of that. And so it was incredibly challenging, incredibly challenging.
Wow. It just takes my breath away hearing that.
Yes.
And especially knowing that he rode a motorcycle, and that's where your mind initially went.
Yes.
And to know somebody that he had a close relationship with
Yes.
took his life. And I just want to know, people have a really hard time if they're not there to say goodbye. How did
Yes.
you feel? I know you said you were cheated, but
Yes. I felt
did you
cheated.
get closure at any point?
I did not get the closure that I would have liked to have had in that moment, especially me being, spiritual and God-fearing, just having that moment to, pray or just having that alone time
Yeah.
with him is something that I would have desired
Yeah.
and hoped I would have been able to have. But I wasn't able to necessarily get that closure. So that caused a lot of pain as well, because you're not just healing because a person was ill.
Mhm.
Or honestly, I could have digested had he been
In that motorcycle
in a
accident.
motorcycle accident. Absolutely. I could have actually, I feel like that would have been easier to process. But losing a loved one is so permanent that it's still going to be very challenging to process it all.
Yeah.
It was difficult.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
Yes.
Building on that, I really wanted to touch on the fact that you didn't lose just one person.
Right.
You lost two people within the same year, just months apart.
Yeah.
The other person that you lost was your mother.
Yes.
So how did you navigate having back-to-back losses?
Honestly, we're leaning into God, standing on his promises. I had already, if I'm being honest, prior to grief hitting me right in the forehead, prior to that, I had a very strong relationship with God. He is definitely, my relationship with God is personal. I read my Bible religiously. I am very disciplined when it comes to seeking his will for my life. And so it honestly was the things that I did prior to grief that really sustained me in this season. It was the pre-work. It was the inner work. And so I would encourage anyone, if you don't have a faith, no matter what it is, it's important to have a faith and belief in something, because thoughts become things. And with that, a lot of my thoughts that I had was as a result of the inner work that I had did prior to losing my mom and losing the love of my life. And so one of the things that I will say with losing both individuals is that God is so faithful. I mean, he held me down in ways that I would have never could have imagined, because there were just scriptures that would come to me. I would be remiss if I did not share that in 2017, I actually went through a discipleship program through First Baptist of Glenarden in Maryland. And that particular discipleship program really changed my life. It changed me in ways that I had not known that it would be an asset in my life, going through that discipleship program. And fast forward to 2023, that was kind of the anchor for me to hold on to something.
And something that you mentioned, I know you are very strong in your faith.
Yes.
And I love the fact that you're not preaching to people that believe in God.
Yes.
Believe
No.
in something.
Yes, believe in something.
Believe in something. And you use the term pre-work. And for me, pre-work is something that is temporary, short window. I think it's more about find something you believe in and continuously practice that, because that's what's going to end up helping you get through those challenging times.
Absolutely.
So once those two situations happened to you, do you feel like that pre-work had become a part of your daily or regular routine?
Yes, absolutely. Part of my daily routine, if you will, is for me, I'm a very disciplined woman. And so I start my day off every single day with meditation. I start off my morning with setting aside time to set my intentions for the day. Like I said earlier, when we first started, that thoughts become things. So it's how you start your day in the morning, right? There's going to be challenges aside from grief. Grief is heavy, right? And so you have to have something that you believe in, right? And you have to decide that you're going to change the way you think. And you're going to say, even through the midst of pain, even through the midst of suffering, that I am going to choose to believe that today is going to be a great day.
Yeah.
And so finding your why is important. Like for me, I do have a son. I've been divorced, and so grief feels like divorce as well. I went through divorce from my son's father. I often would say that grief is very similar to death, and since I've had grief hit me, that it is not the same
Mm-hmm.
because death is permanent. And with
Mm-hmm.
divorce, you're able to pick up the phone and still call your partner or your ex-husband to have a conversation. I can honestly say that grief feels like divorce, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
But it's definitely very, very challenging, and it hurts, and it's not going to feel good. You have emotions that one day, similar to divorce, one day you're fine, the next minute you're not. One minute you are angry, and that's okay. And so when you're going through grieving, it is okay. When you're losing, when you're going through change, when life gets heavy, it's okay to cry. It's okay to say, I'm having a bad day. It's okay to sit with yourself, but you just can't stay there,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can't stay there. You have to keep going, and you have to stand still. And when moments get hard, like divorce is hard, divorce is hard, life is hard.
Mm-hmm.
You have to sometimes just stand still.
Mm-hmm.
When you've done everything you can do, you have to just learn to stand still.
Mm-hmm. Stand still and keep your mind moving.
Yes.
So let me jump into the next question. During that time, those beginning days, did you feel any pressure to be strong for those around you, even while you were breaking inside? And if so, how do you feel that impacted your healing journey?
I absolutely did. Honestly, if I'm being transparent, you do. You want to be strong. I'm a mom. I'm divorced. I have a son that's watching my every move in that season, and I'm still in the season because grief is it's with you for the rest of your life. It doesn't go away.
Mm-hmm.
The feeling gets a little bit easier, but it's there forever. And so being strong for my son was very important to me in that moment. Interestingly, the way I think is that, my son is watching everything that I do. And so, and as I've reared him into a young man, and him watching divorce and him watching the life challenges that I've had, I wanted to be strong because I knew that I lost my mom, and one day he will lose me.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that none of us are exempt from, right? And so I wanted to ensure that I was strong but vulnerable with him. He would see me cry, but he also saw me believe. He saw me have faith. He saw me keep going. He saw me love on him and continue to love everybody around me and continue to pour into the women around me and pour into my career and the people that I work with, because grief changed me so much that I now spend my life serving others,
Mm-hmm.
right? I want to pour into people. I want to be the light,
Yeah.
right? There's so much happening in the world that ultimately my goal is to be the light.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, I definitely was being strong, but I also allowed myself to be vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted him to see that I'm
Yeah.
human. And my friends and family, they know that as well.
And when you say vulnerable, what did that look like for you?
So being vulnerable is simply being true to who I am. And no, I'm not okay,
Yeah.
right? Accepting help. My son, well, he likes to refer to me as an alpha woman.
Mm-hmm.
I can be very alpha. I can be very type A personality. But in this moment, I reminded myself that it's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Allow my friends to come and sit with me. I had a friend come over, she and her ex-husband, they came over, they brought me flowers. I had actually my leader at work, she actually made food for me. I would normally never want to accept anything, but I learned in this season it's okay to accept the support, and it's okay to be 100% vulnerable because the people that love you, they understand. They understand.
I love that you said that you weren't okay. It's so
Yes.
important to say that out loud.
Yes.
And I think as women, a lot of the times the expectation is to say that I'm okay.
Yes.
And people take that at face value and just
Yes.
keep going,
Yes.
even though you're not okay. So
Yes.
that you took the initiative to say,
Yes.
no, look, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing while you were talking that really stood out to me was that grief stays with you. It
Yes.
doesn't go away.
Yeah.
And having been someone that hasn't experienced that depth of grief, I haven't thought about it that way. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people think about the fact that grief is just a moment in time.
Right.
Like it's in the beginning and then over time it
Yes.
just dissipates, but
Right.
it just
Oh,
sits
no.
there with you.
No.
Yeah.
It is forever. And I just want to add to that this time of year is incredibly challenging for many because it's the holidays.
Mhm.
It's a trigger for many. There's an empty seat at the table,
Yeah.
right? And so it is a hard time for people that are maybe going through grieving the loss of their husband or going through separation or going through divorce. And this is not a happy time. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a trigger for many.
Mhm.
And so it stays with you. It could be a moment. I would have a moment at the grocery store where I see something that my mother would use in ingredients, and I'm in the car. I'm in the grocery store, just falling out crying.
Yeah.
So you have those moments that are that are not controllable.
Mhm.
But I've leaned into, if I have to cry in the grocery store, I cry.
Yeah.
If I'm talking to a girlfriend, I cry. Or if I am even at work, I've shedded tears in
Mhm.
meetings, right? But I'm human, and
Yeah.
that shows your human
Yeah.
side.
I agree. I agree with that.
Yes.
And then something incredibly powerful about your journey
Yes.
is the way that you have led with both faith or leaned into faith
Yes.
and grief therapy.
Yes.
Can you share a little bit on how those two forms of support carried you through the darkest moments?
Yeah, so I did grief therapy. I used actually a friend of
For
mine.
those that don't know
Sorry.
what grief therapy is, can you explain it a little bit more? I
Sure.
know you're not a formal therapist,
Oh,
but
yes, absolutely. In the season of grief, I poured into myself a lot with like self-care, right?
Mhm.
And sitting with myself. And so my esthetician referred an organization by the name of Grief Share. And so Grief Share is actually group kind of therapy,
Okay.
right? It is faith-based, but it was virtual,
Mhm.
and they have an option for in-person as well. So
Okay.
it's an opportunity where you are surrounded around individuals that are right where you are,
Mhm.
right? Right where you are with grief, but there's many stages to grief. And so I actually went through the session twice,
Mhm.
and it was online, and it was heavy.
Yeah. And when the length of the session, how much
Sure.
time are people committing
Oh,
to this?
sure. Yeah. So it was once a week,
Mhm.
an hour session, and the sessions were about 8 weeks, I believe,
Okay.
8 to 10 weeks. And so I actually went through it twice. And Grief Share, I hope I'll provide you with the link so you can share with your audience, in hopes that maybe someone may want to take advantage of it because it's helpful. And they have an in-person option and then a Zoom option as
Mhm.
well. But it was heavy. Quite frankly, when I first signed up, the first session was so heavy that I was like, I'm not going to go back to this
Oh, wow.
because you're rehashing everything.
Mhm.
And for me, I'm like, I don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of people going through grief. I had kind of a bias
And
against it.
strangers at
Yeah,
that.
as strangers, as strangers. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need this. And then the instructor said, please at least give it at least 2 additional opportunities. Come back. But she must know, the instructor, they know that it's that heavy. So they
Mhm.
encouraged everyone to just try it, come back, try it, listen in. And so I did that.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most helpful things that I could have done for my mind in that season.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I learned through grief counseling, if you will, is that grief is the price we pay for love.
Mhm.
If you don't love anyone, if you've never felt love, then you will not grieve. And that's why, if you think about it, let's say a friend of yours may pass away and you go support someone, not a friend, but you support a friend in going to a
Mhm.
funeral, and there's really no connection, that's because you never loved them. So when you really truly love someone, you will experience the grieving
Yeah.
process. It's
Grief
powerful.
is the price for love.
Yes.
Wow.
Grief is the price we pay for love. And one of the another key takeaways that I learned through therapy is that there are people left to love you.
Mhm.
So even no matter, I'm talking to individuals out there that may be going through significant loss, whether you're grieving someone, whether you are going through divorce, whether you lost a job, there are people left to love you, and that all of the things, the pain that you may be experiencing, just trust the process, and that people around you love you, and people will support you even in your darkest moments.
Mhm.
Lean into people that love you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I love, again, this is such a hard topic,
Yes.
but I love that you are talking about how multifaceted grief is. And
Yes.
it's not just death.
Right.
It can be the loss of a job. It can be divorce.
Yes.
It's so many things
Yes.
that encompass grief.
Mhm.
So I know we're here to talk about
Yes.
how you've lost 2 loved ones, but I
Yes.
really love the intentionality. And I don't know
Yeah.
if you meant to do that around grief, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you
No,
looking
thank
at it
you.
holistically and giving people
Absolutely.
perspective
Yes.
that grief can come in different forms.
Yes, it does. And it's hard. We're never going to be prepared for it. Just like I have lost jobs. I have been through a divorce. And each time it was a grieving process
Mhm.
because something failed and it didn't go the way you expected it to
Yeah.
go. And it wasn't the ending that you thought
Yeah.
that you deserved.
Yeah. I want to transition to rebuilding.
Yes.
So important. Rebuilding
Yes.
is so important.
Rebuilding is so important.
So when you think about the woman you were before 2023
Yes.
and the woman you are now, what's different? You already said that you were different
I am
after
so
the
different.
deaths that you encountered
Oh
within
my goodness.
your love
I am
for
so
people.
different, Deniece. Like before 2023, life was all about Yolanda. Life was all about me. Like it was my way, my thoughts.
Yeah.
And now, after kind of post grief, it is God's will, God's way, and not my way. I'm operating in a new refound strength that I did not know I had. I am moving incredibly intentional.
Mhm.
I am focused on things that truly matter, and that's relationship.
Mhm.
That's what matters. Relationship is what truly matters. I'm not chasing things. I'm not chasing my career. I'm not chasing the things that I thought I needed for validation.
Mhm.
I'm truly walking in light and purpose, and it feels so good.
Yeah.
It feels so good.
And I can see that. The smile, the light, you talked
Yes.
about the light, and it
Yes.
just beams off of you. So to know what you have gone through and that you're able to show up in this way to give light to other people, but
Yes.
even bring light to yourself and know that there's other ways of showing up for
Mhm.
yourself and other people outside of what defines you, your job,
Yes.
your relationship, your marriage.
What you're
things like-
wearing,
yeah.
all of that stuff does not matter anymore, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I do not focus on things of the world, if you will, in a way that most people find fulfillment. And
Mhm.
fulfillment for me in this season is serving others and being my authentic self
Yeah.
and making a difference in the lives of others rather than focusing on needing any sort of validation, walking with the Holy Spirit and allowing the Spirit to order my steps into where I should be within my life versus honing in on things that really don't matter.
Yeah. I love that for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Whether you're seeking guidance for your business, your team, or your own professional development and personal growth, I would love to work with you one-on-one to help you achieve your goals and bring your vision to life.